What up, though, Pistons fans? Welcome back to another episode of the King and Deuce Show. My name is Deuce, and we are joined by Pistons beat writer Eric Vincent, none other than him himself. How you doing, bro?
Feeling good, man. Feeling good. Happy Wednesday to everybody. Appreciate y'all for being here. How about you, man? You doing all right?
Feeling good, man. Got a chance to watch some preseason basketball. All right, about a third of the way through. First two games were interesting. Right, some good things, some bad, but yeah, man, it's good to actually be watching Pistons basketball again. It's been a while. Off seasons felt like an eternity and a half, so I'm just glad that it's back.
I'm gonna sound like a hater, but I love what the Tigers are doing. Shout out to the Tigers, but
Shout
I can only
out,
digest so much baseball. So I'm happy the basketball's back in play.
bro.
Even though Tigers are doing great, we repping, but
Yeah,
I
both
need
of us.
some
We're here.
balance.
We're here. No, we're in
I
the
need some
building.
balance, man.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
We
yeah, yeah,
repping.
for sure. I mean, look behind you. They there. They there. They on your side.
You know
You know
what
what I'm
time it is. It is. That's right. Detroit all day over here.
saying? You already know. Everybody, what's up in the chat, man? We see y'all, man. Let me see what we got. What's going on, console? Anthony, we gonna get the JI, bro. Interesting comparison. Though. I like that. I haven't read the whole thing yet, but I like what I saw. The names there. What's going on, Assassin King? Brian, what's good? Happy Wednesday. Hump Day is officially almost over, y'all. Let's see. EV been going crazy. Man, yeah, this is what he does,
Good,
bro. This is
Joe.
Eric, man.
Hey, I got to, man. I gotta be. Make sure y'all don't forget me, man. I gotta be out here. I gotta keep
Man, make sure you don't forget us. You got to don't get it twisted.
Oh, never. Come on now.
Yeah, I already know it, bro. Dre said, "What up?" 20 points. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that
What
too,
up, though,
Frank.
Dre?
I think you and I may be in similar thought process on that one. So yeah, man, it's been fun. Like, what have been your thoughts so far, bro? Like, as far as even if we go back to summer league, if you want to start with summer league, we can start there. Or not summer league, but the open practice. Sorry, open practice. If you want to start with the open practice, we can start there. Just what are your feelings so far? Just watching these guys on a day-to-day basis. What are you seeing? What's jumped out at you? Anything particular?
Yeah, so what I'm gathering, even since even since the open practice, which as of late, the Pistons have been keeping those pretty brief. You know, they do a couple drills here, warm ups, layup lines,
Mm-hmm.
and then they scrimmage for a little bit. And these two preseason games, there's one word that sticks to my mind that I think is the most appropriate to see what we're seeing: refreshing. Just refreshing basketball. And even if it's preseason, even if it's scrimmages or
Yeah.
exhibitions or whatnot, I think it's just so refreshing to see winning basketball, competent basketball
Yeah.
that shows that they're stepping in the right direction. I mean, JB Bickerstaff he's preached on a lot. He said he wanted to use this as a evaluation period, and we're seeing some things that are different. We're getting some takeaways on what fits, what doesn't, but it's just refreshing to see the plan and the vision and what he talked about actually translate. Effort on defense, chasing for loose balls, ball movement, playing fast in transition, moving without the basketball, just the things that we didn't see from last season. That's the true benchmark right now, and it's so refreshing to see that they're righting the wrongs, the so many wrongs that we saw from last season, even as early as preseason right now.
Yeah, I think we're seeing more ball movement than the half a second offense that we supposedly were supposed to have seen with Monty Williams before. Yeah, I haven't seen this much ball movement.
0.5, yeah. Okay.
0.5, man. Yeah, we haven't seen it. We never saw it, but it seems like that's exactly what JB is trying to do. It's I mentioned it yesterday. Just watching that game against the Suns, there was a possession where it was at least 3 driving kicks back to back to back, driving kick, and and the ball ended up swing in the corner. I forgot who took the shot, but you could see the bench from that angle, and they were all clapping before the shot even went up. It didn't matter to them if the shot went in or not, because it was just the mindset. Everybody was engaged, and everybody was trying to share the ball and make the extra pass. I love seeing stuff like that because it shows the shot isn't always going to go in. It's not going to always fall, But what you can control is moving that basketball and making the extra pass. So things like that are what I kind of really enjoy watching stuff like that because it shows you from a ground level what the mindset really is.
So something that Cade always says whenever you listen to him in interviews, when he compliments a player, when he's talking about his teammates, he always talks about teammates playing for each other. And we didn't see a lot of that last season. For obvious reasons, it was a whole lot of individual basketball, where a lot of young players were trying to prove that they belong in the league. And at this point, you're seeing, even with like in the first game, where you're talking about the ball moving 2-3 times, I think it was Cade that drove, or no, he dropped the pass down to Isaiah Stewart. He kicks it out in the corner to Ron Holland. Holland gives it to Beasley on the corner for a 3. It was contested, but you just could tell by that extra pass, because Ron could have shot that shot. But the fact that he was able to make that extra pass shows that he's willing to play for his team. And it's so refreshing to see that cohesiveness on the floor, because we know the talent is there. It's not about whether or not they're good or not. It's about whether or not they can turn it into winning basketball as a team. And again, to even just practice these winning cultural ways as soon as preseason, because it was still kind of sloppy during Monty's preseason as well, especially considering the injuries that they had to deal with. So injuries haven't been super, major yet. We'll talk about the guys, but as of right now, we're seeing a lot of these young guys step up and show the roles and the value that they can have to this line or this Pistons rotation. And I've been having a blast watching it, man. I really hope y'all have been too.
Yeah, it seems like you mentioned, it seems like they've just kind of all bought in, hold each other accountable.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, the energy is just different, man. It's fun to watch. And we're going to get to him later, but it's fun to watch J.I. just play with a freeness about him again. It feels like he's enjoying playing basketball again. Last season, it looked like he was just always very much thinking about every decision that he made with the basketball, very, very unsure. And this year, it's a totally different story. He's kind of just going back to who he was, so it's good to see that across the board. And I kind of just want to see what happens with that. And I want to get your thoughts on this. The 3 position. We talked about a few guys who we thought could slide there, with Asar possibly missing some time. Is there a particular guy that you think, because I'm still not sure. Me and King talked about it a little bit, about the lineup they ran out with last night with Malik Beasley at the 3. But how do you feel about that? Do you think that is a permanent solution at the 3 if Asar is out for an extended period of time? Or do you think that a little bit more experimentation needs to happen to see who can actually fit in that 3 spot?
I don't think Beasley would be a bad decision. I feel like for a few different reasons, it could make some sense. I would like them to take a little bit more time before they make the final stamp, but I do think it would make some sense for a few reasons. Beasley obviously stretches the floor, very confident shooter. And granted, I don't think he's the best like lockdown defender or anything of the sort. He's been active enough on the defensive end where it's been infectious for the rest of the team. You're seeing Ivy be a lot more active defensively, and it feels like the guys are watching the veterans kind of set that defensive tempo, and the other young guys are buying in saying, okay, I need to do my part too. Like that's how I watch it with a guy like Beasley, clapping his hands, when the Bucks are out of the ball because he just scripted opponent. Like those kind of things play off and feed off for a team. So for me, I wouldn't mind seeing Beasley in that position, especially for one more reason. When you have a 6'7" point guard, it gives you the ability to mix and match with some areas. So even if he's not the prototypical, wing, you still have Cade, who's built like a small forward, who can also make, mismatches of his own when the Pistons are on offense, and he can help fill in those areas of missing as well. So I think it could make a lot of sense. Again, I want them to take their time before they make a decision. Hopefully, Asar is not missing too much time. But this roster is built up enough, thanks to Trajan Langdon, to be able to experiment and be versatile in those kind of situations.
Yeah. Okay. All right. You sound like King, man. He was saying the same thing. And I understand it. We just have such a size advantage in that backcourt. And I feel like Beasley at the 3 would kind of, because he's 6'4". I don't know how I feel about that as far as kind of negating your size at that wing spot, because you already have a big backcourt that you're trying to take advantage of size wise. So I don't know. I understand what you're saying. I don't know. Maybe I'm just more conventional as far as with that small forward spot, that wing position, that defensive guy in that wing position, kind of like how Asar is. Because think about it. If Asar was healthy, you would space him. Or I'm sorry, you would still start him over Beasley, wouldn't you, at the 3? If Asar was healthy.
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
So,
play him not maybe 30 minutes a game, but yeah, he would start for sure.
Right. So it's like the defense is more important than the spacing. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like in that situation, because of how good of a defender that he is, I I guess
Right.
that's just kind of my mindset as far as just wanting that three to be that Tayshaun Prince glue guy that can be very versatile on both sides of the ball. You know what I mean? But maybe that's just the conventional thought process, and maybe I just kind of got to adapt to something different. But I don't know. I just maybe if I see a little bit more, it might make a little bit more sense over time.
It's something they can tinker around with. I mean, it could be a situation where just depending on the team that they're playing against, where granted you don't want to be mixing and matching every other game. However, if you are going into a matchup where they are playing three guards, or they don't have the most size, you can afford to have a guy like Beasley in that starting
Right.
lineup and kind of lean on Asard to just be that glue guy defensively and to fill in the holes where they need to offensively. But if they do play at Jason Tatum, or if you got to see a team with size and scoring like Orlando, who has Paolo and Franz Wagner, then you really, really want Asar in that lineup. So again, that's the beauty of where this team is at. They're not perfect right now, but the areas of where these veterans make sense. And even again, I agree with your argument. I definitely understand, being able to lose some of that value of a stronger, taller backcourt, but I don't think it would affect them too much in terms of staying competitive against these opponents based on what they have right now.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair for sure. All right, King, I hear you, bro. He was saying the same thing earlier, so I kind of wanted you to be the tiebreaker. So okay, because I got so much respect for you, I'll take that L. Let's move on.
That's respect. I'll take that. I appreciate it.
For real, nah, for real. Hey, I try to keep it as real as possible, Yeah, so let's keep it moving, bro. Let's talk about J.I., man. J.I. And I kind of just want to say something about J.I. First and foremost. Get ready for the bandwagoners, bro. Get ready for the bandwagoners, man. Because it's so many people. I keep receipts. I keep mental receipts. I can't unsee anything. So, I remember who said what about him as far as being traded for him and the pick for D-Book and all this different stuff last year. And now it's just he might win most improved player. Okay. All right. But yeah, man, I'm really happy to see him really showing or reminding everyone or a lot of people of what he was already doing when he was here as a rookie. Just now with more weapons, around him. So I'm really looking forward to seeing his growth this year, man. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Just really continuing to surprise, because I don't think we've seen anything near his ceiling at all. I really don't. So I think this is going to be a very surprising season. It's going to be a lot of, did you see J.I. last night? This season. You know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to it.
It's already kind of flashing. I mean, if you look at the way he's playing right now, he hasn't been this confident since we've been in the league. I mean, his rookie year, he was great, but I think he was still kind of growing and adapting to being a point guard. And again, he said that was something that he was adjusting to, but he's been sensational right now. I mean, from the effort on both sides of the ball, I've always loved his ability of how he cuts and stays active even when he doesn't have the ball in his hands. And something else he does really good is even when he does catch that ball, on the fly and the speed, we saw it, in the game yesterday against the Suns, when he dives in the lane, he's not just always looking for his shot. He's smart enough where he can make that secondary dish off to Duren for a dunk or find somebody in the corner for an open three. Him and they do a really good job of collapsing defenses together. Normally it's just like a Luka who will draw one or two guys or three guys. They both can do it with their movements, whether whoever has the ball or doesn't have the ball. He's been sensational right now. I'm loving his evolution right now. The confidence he's playing with his mid-range jump shot. His three looks fantastic. Yeah. And it looks like all that, what Trajan Layton said, J.I. is one of the players that we've had to pull out of the gym because he's working too much.
Yeah.
And we're seeing a lot of that change already in his game. The jumper looks fantastic. The effort on defense, playing in transition, he's just giving them a new identity. And I like your take too. I'm not against that most improved player thing. I like that. I can see that very well as him being a top 3 and top 5 finisher for right now if he plays like this.
Well, thank you for giving me that shout out. Because I remember I've been saying this since the open practice. I see it. So I don't know, man. It's gonna be a lot of fun just watching this dude play, man. Somebody was like, I think Eric wanted him traded last year. I was like, man, I don't know if that was the case or not. I don't think you were saying that you wanted him traded.
Cap.
That's cap. That's big cap.
Ricky, you a lie, Ricky. I did not say that at all.
I had to address that. Come on, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, Piston fans, listen, I understand last season was an absolute nightmare. I know, we feeling a little impatient. But again, we have, like you said, we haven't seen the best individual ceiling between these guys or the duo between him and Cade. We have not seen that work together yet. So I think now is going to be the most clear path that they have to make this work. We're already seeing some of those benefits early. So I was not on board for trading Ivy early. I did not say that.
I didn't think so. So yeah.
Nah.
Not at all. No. Not at all, man. It's yeah, man. And it's just gonna be one of those things where game over game, week over week, month over month, you're just gonna see these guys get more and more comfortable in their own skin on the court, and then also playing with each other. That's gonna be fun to watch the slow incline. You know what I mean? Because it definitely, you can already see it already. So as far as preseason, bro, anything stand out in either game, one against the Bucks or two against the Suns?
What stood out to me against the Suns is how quick the Pistons are able to, not how quick, but how persistent they are to stay in a fight even when things are not going their way. We even saw it in the first game. They were not playing pretty good in the first quarter. They were down 24, 22-4, like mad early. People were tweeting. Yeah. Even myself, I'm like, bro, this cannot be. We cannot be doing this again. And even with the bad start, they were still able to turn things on. And it's not because the starters were out either. Dame Lillard was still on the floor in the second quarter. Brook Lopez was still on the floor in the second quarter. Bobby Portis, who's been a Piston killer his whole career, he was still playing. So they were able to weather the storm and battle against championship caliber team. And we saw the exact same thing against the Suns too. Regardless of the loss, they still played and kept the game competitive up until the end. And we saw a lot of that last season too as well. But a lot of the mistakes that they were making were critical mistakes made by the coach that was self-inflicted for no reason. I just think they lost to a better team last night. It wasn't really that they were making any bad mistakes. They had good looks. They had offensive, they were contesting shots. You're just playing Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. I remember somebody literally tweeting and talking about how Cade Cunningham doesn't play defense. And then the same night, he's stuffing Devin Booker's jump shot and played transition basketball to follow. So, no, I was extremely encouraged with everything I've seen. Even with Cade's slow start, even with them going down, to a big lead, they still able to fight. 8 assists as a team player. Oh, but he should be a small forward. No, he shouldn't. I feel like we're still seeing the value of what this team can build, even when the losses are coming so far. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's. I think he's just rounding into form. He's not gonna, we still got to consider the injury, guys. It's not something that just goes away overnight. He's fully healthy now for sure, but I think he's just, new season. I think he's just getting into form, and it's just taking him a little longer than what fans expect. But just give him a little time. I feel like Pistons fan, man, and I love him, but so many people, it's this impatience. It's just this. Think about even with Jaden Ivey. Last year, trade him before whatever, impatience. And now, we see what's happening with him now. And then you look at just the game against the Bucks. Twitter was going crazy after that 20-3 start. The impatience. There was people were packing it in, about to go watch football, doing whatever. Impatience. You know what I mean? A 17-point deficit into a 25-point win. Something crazy. So it's just patience. It just takes time. You know what I mean? It really just takes time. I know it's been hard because it's been hard for us as Pistons fans for the last few years. But, of course, just enjoy the process because now it's beginning to take shape. 100%, man. Like you said, even when Cade he hasn't been shooting well in preseason. He was, real cold last night. Didn't really light it up. I think he had 13 points in the first game against the Bucks. But again, having a player like him, it's not like a Jalen Green thing where if he's cold, he's doing nothing. Cade can still play defense. He still rebounds. He still can push the ball. He still orchestrates offense, and he can still get you the assists. I think he's one of the 10 best passers in basketball right now, maybe even higher than that. We'll see what happens. And there are going to be nights for the Pistons where if Cade's shot isn't going, Ivy can be the guy that's leading them in scoring. That's not a bad thing to have. If Ivy's your leading scorer, but Cade is still giving you a double-double of maybe, I don't know, like
22 and
19 and
10.
11. Yeah, you live with that. That's
Yeah,
nothing
bro.
bad at all. Like, you still setting up other guys. You still got shooters around both of them. These veterans that they have, Jalen Duren, they complement Cade and Jaden Ivey. So, no, I don't have a problem at all with what I've seen. You're going to see a lot of different dynamics between those two, but their games work perfect together. And I think we're seeing it already.
Yeah, it's fun seeing the connection now with Ivy and JD off those oops. You know what I mean? It's fun because we're used to seeing mainly with Cade, so it's just getting a different look at it. And I'm sure this offseason Cade's been helping, showing him exactly how JD likes to get to the rim and different things, so that Ivy, when they put in positions, can capitalize like he did. It looked seamless. It looked pretty effortless. So they've been working, man. You can see it. You can see it.
Yep. Jaden, people forget, like you said, with the impatience, people forget that Jaden Ivey was literally the best guard coming out of his draft class when they, had Paolo, Jabari, and Chet in front of him. All three fantastic players, but Ivy is still of that ilk and still as talented as any of those guys now. Right now, I stand on that. Like, Ivy, his electric motor cannot be stopped. Like, you see him splitting two guys at one time. And again, something we haven't talked about yet, his ability to get to the free throw line is going to be huge this season. He draws contact better than anybody on this team. He falls out. The speed is unguardable. And he's drawing contact in the paint and even off jump shots. So, again, I feel like he's bringing a different element that this offense needs badly. Cade doesn't have a number 2 scorer solidified next to him. And Ivy has shown that he can be that guy in a multitude of different ways. Not just being a stand-up shooter. Like, he's doing a lot for this offense and this team right now. So, we're seeing a lot of that identity be set with the effort that they're playing with right now.
And how they're going to play off of each other, like you mentioned, as far as the points per game versus the overall maybe more balanced stat line, with Cade. You know what I mean? So, like, that was a good point too, bro. And yeah, I think I wanted to get to this too, as far as with before I get to that, with JI, one more thing on JI. When you think about, because you mentioned he's really good at drawing fouls. He also, I would say, he converts and ones at a pretty high rate too, when compared to league average, because he's able to play through contact because he's so strong. That I mean, he's falling out of bounds. Insane shots that he's a shot maker. You know what I mean? So I think that's going to help him too, as far as being able to play through contact and get a lot of and ones this season. Moving on to this guy here. Pips 2 is the best player on this team, period. He definitely is the heart and soul, I will venture to say. He's the soul of this team. Definitely, because he embodies what we are, I think, more than any other player. I want to talk about Beast 2 for a second, though. When you think about, he looks so much more comfortable to me now. Going back to the 5. I think he filled in admirably last year at the 4. He's a guy who's going to do whatever you ask him to do, right? And we saw how he increased his 3-point shooting year over year. So, but I think him back at the 5, playing against backup bigs, where he can really exert that physicality and dominate the paint. I think that's really where he's going to shine. He's still going to knock down the occasional 3, but I think he's home in the paint. I feel like he feels like he's home when he's in the paint, banging and, drawing contact and pushing guys around and just being dirty and just being nasty in the glass, man. That's his game. So he's just nasty with it. So I think this is where he needs to be, and he's going to do a great job, I think, in that role. What do you think?
Beef Stew commands a lot of respect within the locker room. I'll be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of his game. And a reason I think really boiled back to last season. We talk a lot about Monty Williams, but when he got his contract, one of the first things that Troy Weaver talked about was, he's going to become the shooter we need him to be. He's going to become that stretch 4 we need him to be. I'm like, well, why are you trying to take him out of his game? You're trying to basically take away what he's been good at, which is playing down low, being a scrappy glue guy, and using his physicality, which is like the hallmark benchmark of his game, not his shooting prowess. Like, that's not who he is. And you could tell he was genuinely excited, even if coming off the bench. He said that he was super excited to be able to still, throw his body around, play physical, and, play that gritty style of Detroit basketball that has been, the staple of this franchise. So again, he's doing a really good job of adapting to it. And then we're even seeing him also, again, stagger some minutes with the starters as well. He's not just playing with the second unit, but the way his style of play works, it gives him the ability to do a lot of different things. Like he
Mm-hmm.
still has been able to shoot from the outside. He still, space the floor when he needs to, and he can still guard anybody on the floor from 1 through 5. So
Right.
listen, I love where he's at now. Again, I wasn't his biggest fan, but I do like where he's at now in terms of his fit within this rotation. I think it's much better suited as a backup 5, letting JD, step in as the, starting heart and soul of this rotation.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they're doing a great service for Beef Stew by bringing him off the bench.
I agree. And PD Mac, I think that's what Eric was saying. Like, he didn't decide to do that. You know what I mean? He didn't say, "Hey, coach, I kind of want to stretch my range out a little bit." No, that's what they asked him to do. So yeah, whether he had to or not, I think it still didn't put him in the best position. I'm with you on that one for sure. Yeah. I wanted to ask you guys here in the comments, because I'm seeing this a lot as far as not wanting Cade at the 1. What is you guys starting 5? What is your ideal starting 5? That's what I want to know. So let me know in the comments what you guys' ideal starting 5 is as of right now. Do you like the one that we're going with now, the last few games, with BZ at the 3, or what are you looking at? And what about you, bro? I know we talked about it a little bit before, but do you think that he is best suited at the 3? And do you think that's the best starting 5 for us?
No. and I don't know what y'all are talking about. Like, I don't. Cade is the best passer on the team. His scoring, he is a great scorer. I love his mid-range game. Like, I think he's a beautiful jump shot. He has the size and strength of a small forward, but he's not. I don't understand the point of drafting Ron Holland, drafting Asar Thompson, signing Tobias, re-signing Simone Fontecchio, bringing in the vets who can play the 2 or the 3, and you want to start Cade at the 3? Doesn't that kind of negate their ability to be productive?
Yeah.
Doesn't that negate their ability to get on the floor? And at the same time, too, when you look at, I talked to Sasser about it, I talked to Jaden Ivey about it. The guard depth is a lot different than what it was last season. There's no Monty Morris. There's no Killian Hayes. Like, there's Sasser, Jaden Ivey, and Cade Cunningham. Those are the starting guys that are for sure going to get minutes right now. And we've seen JB Bickerstaff staggering them with the bench and without the bench. And it's been working for them. Yeah. Like, it's not like we're seeing Sasser run the point and then Cade plays off and then we're like, that hasn't happened yet. If it does, we'll see. But I don't understand. Again, the dude was top 10 in assists last season. Even when his shot wasn't on yesterday, he still gave you 8 assists in half-court sets and in transition basketball.
Yeah, in both. Yep.
What are we seeing that he's not dropping like 40 balls consistently as a scorer? He's not hunting his shot. He's not a small forward, I don't think. That's not his game, bro. Like, would it make in some sets? Sure, but full-time? No. That's dumb. No.
I think the team as currently constructed is, like you said, we're not going to be as of right now, every single night, same exact starting 5. It may change. It may be different rotation. The rotation may be different from night to night, depending on matchup, because there's a lot of new guys and a lot of experimentation. So yeah, I do think that we need to leave him at where he's at, just because once again, we still haven't seen. Why would we change it now when we still haven't seen consistent play out of these two together?
Exactly.
I mentioned it the other day. This is the first time that J.I. has been able to play free with Cade. Season 1, he played free, but Cade got hurt. Right. Season 2, Cade was back, but Monty Williams. So, so this is the first time he's getting a chance to play his game with Cade. Right. Just let it be. Just put him out there and just let it be. Like, don't mess with it too much. Just don't overthink it. Just let them develop. Isaiah and Joe Dumars, let them develop. Rip and Chauncey, let them develop. Just let it, you know what I mean? Like, let them develop that chemistry. Don't mess with anything. So I'm with you. 100%. 100%, bro. It just doesn't make sense to me.
The Pistons are at a point.
Woo, we lost Eric. We'll get him back. Yeah, man. So I'm just of the mindset of I say it all the time, we only have seen a third of the games with them playing have been together. It's either been one or the other than for 2/3 of the time. So I'm with you guys. Yeah, I think it just stays like this. Ooh, Holland. Okay, this is different. Okay, MB Cade, Ivy, Holland, Harris, and Duren. So you throwing Holland to the Wolves. I'm not mad at that, though. I'm not mad at that because I do like what I've seen from him so far. He's raw. He's very raw, right? He's still learning and growing, even preseason game to preseason game. But his potential, man, he's got a high ceiling. You can see he can be one of those kind of do-it-all guys. There we go. We got him back.
Xfinity, I don't know why y'all hate me so much, man. Please, I pay my bill on time. Please, like, leave me alone.
Bro, don't even worry about it, man. I've had my issues on this side of the fence too, bro. Don't even worry about it. Hey, let's not beat some time. We're talking about starting five. What do you think of this starting five here? Kate at the 1, Ivy 2, Holland at the 3, Harris at the 4, Duran at the 5.
That's the hope, I would imagine, right? I mean, listen, I like Asar. I know, people rave about what his ceiling could be due to his, defense, his passing, the versatility that he has. He's not close to the offensive style that Ron Holland has. And Ron's not even for real scratching the surface with who he is. We might not see it for probably a couple years, and he's still already that much further than Asar from what we know. So he deserves a lot of credit for what he's been doing. I think he's the one, him and Malik Beasley single-handedly, him and Ivy as well. But off the bench, I think they sparked the change in that first game against Milwaukee to turn the tide and get that lead back. But I mean, I would love that. You see Ron playing a lot of defense. It would allow them to still play fast in transition. I wouldn't mind that at all. I think it'd be fantastic. Maybe not right now, but down the line, if he gets there, sure.
Do you feel like Ron Holland's ceiling is higher than Asar's? Because I'm still not sure yet. Still not sure yet. You think his okay. Go ahead.
I think it is, just because we've seen, again, I don't think Ron's like weaknesses right now, even when they just came into the draft, like granted, they haven't played a lot professionally, so I'm gonna take them for what we know. Ron, when he came into the draft, he wasn't as far off, like he didn't have a broken shot coming into the league. Asar looks like his shot is broken. It looks like he's getting some work done. I'm loving all the work I'm seeing. Vincent. Vincent fans, you should be very encouraged by that. But I think as of right now, and it could change through time, but as of right now, I kind of think his ceiling is a little bit higher. I'm loving what I'm seeing from Ron on both sides of the floor, the way he's able to play.
I am too, man.
Connector. He's doing a lot. I'm really impressed.
I am too, bro. I am slightly pleasantly surprised. I didn't think he was not going to be an effective or good player. I think I didn't expect him to have the impact and it's preseason. I know, right? But I didn't expect him to have the impact this early that he's already having on games. He's kind of like deer in the headlights sometimes, and he's still making an impact. He's still creating his own offense from defense. You know what I mean? He's just like, okay, he's reacting, he's running on the fly, but he's processing. You can see him processing. You know what I mean? That's at a very quick rate. So that's what I'm pleasantly surprised by. Not the fact that he's playing well, but he's playing well this early, and he's still finding a way to be effective and help the team. He's not really hurting the team whenever he's on the court. He's not really hurting the team, So I think I'm surprised pleasantly just by how quickly he's grasping and understanding and adjusting. And it's really cool to see that.
I talked to Jalen Duran at Media Day, and that was one of the things I asked him. I asked, what's your impression of the rookies? How have you been helping them? And he said Ron's mentality does not say I'm a rookie. Like, you can tell when guys are on the floor and they're really just running around trying to figure some stuff out and like kind of playing with the mindset of I'm a rookie. He said like they treat him like a young vet by the way he's playing basketball. Like he said, he understands rotations well. Like he's very quick with his hands. He flies up and down the floor in transition. And again, he doesn't do too much. Like normally some rookies, maybe get a little giddy. Like when he caught that pass when the ball was rotating around, if he would have shot the ball, we would have said, okay, that makes sense. The intelligence to know, hey, let me move the ball one more time to a shooter and we'll get a better look. We'll go from a good look to a great look, from a good shooter to a great proven shooter. Like that's IQ right there. And that's stuff that you can't teach already for him. Like maybe over time you can teach it, but he's got that down right now. So I'm super, super impressed with Ron, with what he's doing.
I am too, man. Yeah, like I said, he just finds a way to make an impact when he's on the court. And that's what stands out the most. That, and that's why I'm warming up to that idea of him being at the 3, because I was just talking about those guys at the 3, Tayshaun Prince type of guy who can kind of do a little bit of everything, And I think Ron is that kind of guy. Right. He can do a little bit of everything. He can guard 1 through 4. He can guard the perimeter if you need him to in the pinch. You know what I mean? He can do a lot of different stuff for you. And that in itself is going to be just the fact that he's going to be a Swiss Army knife, at least only early on. He could develop, offensively, like you mentioned before. I think you mentioned him being a Jimmy Butler type of player as far as his ceiling, maybe. But with more playmaking potentially, that could be kind of scary.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing his growth, man. He's really coming along well to be so fresh out of college.
And you don't want to, you don't want to tamper with that right now. Like, I feel like the idea of, using Cade as the 3, for extended periods of time, like it doesn't fit for what you have. You don't want to tamper with his line of development right now. You want him like in a position where like he's just in a position where he can learn and still be his most effective with his speed, athleticism, and his strength as well. So you give Cade $250 million. You need him to focus and be great at what he's great at. You don't take that away from him for no reason. Again, it's not even a logical reason right now to put him in as your starting 3. Sasser has not been so great. You need to put him there. Ivy's very good, but he hasn't been so great as a point guard where, okay, we don't have no choice but to put him on ball. Like that hasn't been the case. Cade should be your starting point guard, and that conversation needs to stop very soon. Very, very soon.
I think it will. Once the season starts, I think, all that stuff is going to get put to bed, bro. It's not even going to be a conversation.
Yes, it will.
Yeah. So we've talked about, a lot of us have had a lot of different opinions, and rightfully so, about season predictions, right? As far as the win total. Based on what you've seen so far, do you feel like your projection has kind of gone up, kind of gone down, or kind of where you had it before? The way too early prediction.
Yeah, we can still overreact for a little bit longer. It's still kind of around. It's still around the same range for me. Like, I feel like anywhere between, I think 27, like 32. Like, to me, that's my range of success. I don't think 25 is enough. 27 to me is still kind of like not as impressive because they need to be at some points tagging that 10 spot in the Eastern Conference. If you just in the 12th spot the whole season, 12 and down, then that's a disappointment. It kind of speaks not to just like what their talent is or whatever, but I just think that would be extremely underwhelming based on what is in place already. I don't think 30 is too much to ask for. Again, there's a lot of teams in the East with talent, but it's a lot of teams in the East that are coming down as well that the Pistons should be better than as soon as this season. Like, they can be better than Brooklyn, Chicago. I'm not impressed with Toronto, Charlotte, Washington. The Hawks can take a step back. There's a lot of teams that they can pass if guys like Cade are looking like an all-star again, if Ivy is still playing up the snuff, averaging around 20 a game, if Duren is looking like a steady, long-term center, and if those wings are filling in at their roles, why can't they tinker around 10 or 9? I don't think that's impossible. So, for me, I still got them around 30. I think that's best case scenario. And if this is the effort that we're going to see all season, I think it's very possible. I really do.
Yeah. I think my number is between 32 and 35 for a successful season. And I think we're going to get there.
Okay.
With young teams, they're going to be games that they win they're not supposed to. And there's going to be games that they lose they're not supposed to. Right? It's going to be some heartbreakers in there. It's going to be some pleasantly surprising wins in there. But I think the fact that this team will not really have been scouted playing together. There's no tape. There's no footage. You know what I mean? There's nothing to go off of. And those are going to be the games they're not supposed to win that they do. Because they catch teams off guard with just their energy. They just catch them off guard that night. I think we're going to have a lot of games like that. I think we're going to have games where we win games we have no business winning. But because of the energy, the newness, the pride, the effort, and just catching teams on a bad night sometimes, I think we're gonna do that a lot this year. And I have it between 32 and 35. I really think, I really think this team is gonna have a late push. I think we're gonna see winning streaks post All-Star break. Right? We're gonna see 4-game winning streak here, maybe even a 5, maybe sneak a 5. But we're gonna see that more so as this team continues to gel over the season, and you'll see that growth and that togetherness kind of come together. Come March, April.
Things like that, what you just said, those are the marks that the team should be looking at to hit in terms of goals before just saying, okay, playoffs. What you said is important. Can we get a 3, a 4, a 5-game win streak? Can we win, if we go on a 5-game road trip on the West, can we steal 3 or 4 of them? Like
Yeah.
those little
Can we
things
go
right
500?
there.
Yep.
Can we go 500? Yes. Those little things. Can we, close this week here? Can we do this? Those little stamps right there build those habits to get to the playoffs. And I think those are the things that they need to pay attention to and focus on. It looks like, again, when you have a coach like JB Biggerstaff who looks like he's emphasizing little things like how to move the ball, how to move without the ball, how to not be stagnant, how to, preach basically to whatever the 0.5 offense was supposed to look like with Monty. It looks more prominent here under JB than it ever did with Monty. So he's teaching those little things that then turn those mindsets and those questions on. So yeah, I definitely think they're on the path for that. I don't think 30 wins is possible. And I was talking to my dog about this too. I feel like if Cade is who we think he is, and if he's as healthy as we think he is, and granted, I love him. I think he's great. Winning 25 or less with his skill set, you got to give him some blame too. He's going to start. He's at a point now where he's going to start shouldering some of that blame. Like you can't just be, hey, my numbers are sexy, but I kind of disappeared for stretches, or when a team was going on a run, I was nowhere to be found. Like I'm not just going to put it all on the fourth quarter or the clutch. No, it's not always that. But what do you do when you're bleeding in the third, or when they catch fire in the second? What are you doing then? So he's going to start catching some of that blame, and I feel like it's fair at this point. So yeah, I think 30-ish has to start being the mindset and the expectation for a team with as much talent as they have, even with a new head coach.
Yeah, for sure. No, you're absolutely right. We're at a point now. I think we're at the same point that he's at. Prove it time. I think a lot of Pistons fans are like, okay, we've said this, this excuse, whatever, he was hurt, just different things. Some fans just don't give any grace. And they're like, I don't care. You know what I mean? But I think a lot of fans are at the prove it point. And I think he's also at I'm ready. I think he's ready to prove it the same way. I think for the first time, he is confident in what he has here as a ball club. You know what I mean? So I think that's important. And like you said, though, those critical moments, like we always think about the dynasties of the past, like in playoff theories or whatever, you would see the San Antonio Spurs or the Lakers or those Boston Celtics teams, or the Warriors, they would always talk about, that third quarter, we really, we got back to who we were. We really turned it on that third quarter. The third quarter is their fourth quarter a lot of the time, because that's when it's a very pivotal point in the game.
Yes.
So to your point, in those moments, in that third quarter, and you actually mentioned the third quarter, you know what I mean? So it's like in those moments, that's when your team needs you the most, not at the buzzer beater. You know what I mean? Not when it's 2 seconds left or you're down. You know what I mean? It builds to that point, but you got to get there first. You know what I mean? So that's why, to your point, I think it's so important, and that's going to be what he is judged on, I think, in large part because of where he's at in his career and because he now has a situation that's good for him. And I think he's going to step up to the plate and he's going to deliver. I really believe that.
Yeah, because if you listen to media now, you listen to how a lot of fans adapt and listen to sports and takes now. Everything is trickled down to the fourth quarter. You a LeBron fan, so you know what it feels like to see him go off with 3.5 quarters or whatever it is, and people kill him for it in the last 2 possessions. I'm not a LeBron fan, but I can also, at this point in my life, as a non-hater, kind of realize that that's kind of crazy. So everything is not down to the fourth quarter, but there are some areas where we can look at with Cade and say, all right, well, what did you do here when they went on a 10-0 run? What happened here when, the team was ice cold? We saw stretches last season where they couldn't make any shots in the third or fourth quarter, second quarter before halftime, like get off to a hot start in the first and then just went nuts after that. So yeah, it's a lot of different areas you can pay attention to for this team, and that's where the growth is going to come in at on the way to having an assertion for the fourth quarter. So they're going to get there. It's going to take some time, but we're going to have to see those growing steps little by little with these guys. For sure. Totally agree. Quick segue, and we'll come right back to this. I saw this. What do you think about this for a nickname for Holland and Nasar? The guard dogs. I ain't mad at that because I like that.
They call us with the dog pound.
Yeah.
I like
and
that.
You saw his Ron's IG. I think he said Dog Pound Junior. Now,
yeah, so he just changed it.
Buying into it. Yeah, I like that. That. Yeah, that goes with it. I like the guard dogs. I'm with that.
Yeah, man. I may or may not have a song written called Dog Pound. Let's move on to the other thing I wanted to get to. So look, check this out. Ryan, I am 100% in agreement with you. I think this is a difference between a mature player and an immature player, right? A lot of guys, when they get that contract, they enjoy the contract immediately, and they begin to coast. You know what I mean? We've seen it happen, unfortunately. Other guys are like, okay, I'm going to prove I'm worth more than this contract. And that goes to pride, which is why I wanted to show Ryan's comment here, because he's a prideful guy, man. He wants to win. He wants to prove that he's a winner. So I think this is a very, very good point that he mentioned here, because I feel the same exact way, and that's just not who he is. I think Pistons fans are confident in that just from getting to know who he is and watching him and things like that. So yeah, no issue there for sure. It's interesting here, being the NBA being Pistons need to start the most intriguing. I mean, yeah, I understand what you're saying. I'm at the end of the day, it's still about winning, though. You know, if you win, that alone will get you everything else. Right. That will get you everything else you're looking for. You know what I mean? The spotlight, the endorsement deals, all this different stuff will come if you win. So I think it's still got to be what's, that's the focus. Yeah, bro. Did anything else stand out to you as far as with the preseason so far? One more guy I wanted to get to, Jalen Duren. What are your thoughts on JD so far? Because he played much, much better, I think, this past game than he did this first game when he struggled. What do you think? What are your thoughts on JD so far?
I like what I'm seeing. We talked about it before, where I don't think he's going to be scoring a lot of points where plays are drawn up specifically for him. Like, I don't think JB Bickerstaff is going to be doing a whole lot of areas of planning where how can we get Duren the ball on the block. Even though I would like to see that in some spots, I don't think that's going to be a priority play for them. That pick and roll offense between the guards and him is going to be the focus, and we're already seeing the potential of what it could look like due to the spacing that's already been provided. He's doing a great job of screening on the top. And again, we talk about the spacing for Cade. Ivy is benefiting off of this too. He don't even need a lot of space because he's way faster than Cade Cunningham. You give him a blink of space, he can get to the paint and he's unstoppable at that point. Right. So I like what Duren is doing. I feel like he's been very helpful in a lot of the paint protection. We saw a lot of it in the second half against the Bucks, where it helped them play in transition. He was a big reason a lot of that. He was getting his hands on loose balls. He was deflecting passes. He was doing well with rebounding. He's been all over the place. I think he led him in scoring with 17 last night. He's off to a good start. Again, it's still, we want to see a pattern of consistency from him, but I think he's doing a lot of the right things. They've even let him bring the ball up in transition. Like, we've seen a lot of his versatility. And again, I think the way his skill set complements the other players is being reflected in everybody. It's not like just one player is going off because of his help. I think everybody's, showing and growing right now. And again, I've been impressed with him. I like what he's been up to. I really do.
Yeah, I really do too. You can tell he's trying to do the right thing. Like, he's made some mistakes here and there, but that's okay. It's all part of the growth process. He's going to be just fine. He still ends up with 17 last night. He still played, and he's defending the paint a lot better. He's the effort is there a lot more than what it was last time he would have lapses. So he's going to be just fine. I'm not worried about him at all. He's going to have so many easy buckets this year. It's not going to be funny. You know what I mean? And then he's going to showcase also what he can do on his own too. As far as is this Ryan? Just wanted to follow up on this. Yeah, like, you're right. Yeah, they are going to keep. They're going to make sure he stays focused and all that. But to be honest, man, he's just kind of like that anyway. Kenan told me personally that that's just kind of always been his nature. He's always been very mature for his age. He's always been that way. He's always been motivated. So he's kind of self-motivated. They're going to be there to support, of course, but that's just kind of who he is already. Let's see. MB Wells said about Duren. Duren broke Trent's arm simply with Gary bumping it. Bro, he's a tank, bro. Like, he's literally a tank, man. It's going to be fun watching all these guys. Man, I can't wait for the season to start, bro. Like, opening night, do you think we get that win? I'm going to ask you that too.
The Pacers, right?
Yeah.
I think they can.
Yeah.
Listen, Indiana did a good job last season. I'm not sold on Indiana just as for the future. I do think they got good pieces. I like Rick Carlisle. I like some of the players and pieces that they have on that team, but I don't look at them as, like an impossible team that they can't get past. Like, I just don't think so. I feel like if Cade's ceiling is as high as it is, he can show that he's better or can be better than Halliburton as soon as the next couple of years.
Yep.
Like again, Ivy too as well. I feel like that backcourt. I feel like having shooters, having veterans, and again, we haven't seen Tobias yet, but I feel like stepping in as a complimentary scorer, where he can score from inside and outside. I think it's gonna help against a lot of these tough division foes that they have, where there's talent, but I don't
Hmm.
think they're impossible to beat. Again, the Pistons did a good job of keeping feet with some of these teams last season in the midst of of Monty Williams. So if
Right.
you have a little bit more organization and better focus in the fourth quarter, there's no reason they can't steal a couple games from some of these playoff teams like Indiana. Yeah, I would bet against them, or I would bet for them to win and beat the Pacers on opening night. I feel like they can do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with you, bro. Johnny said the Pacers have James Wyman as backup center. I think we have a good
Oh yeah.
chance of scoring plenty in the paint at least. That'll be interesting to watch. If we get a Wiseman versus Stu
Oh yeah.
matchup, that'd be interesting, right?
Mhm.
I think Stu would look to exert his dominance with his physicality there, though, for sure.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
A
for
big chip
sure.
on the shoulder for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely, man. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting with Tobias. Just seeing his impact. I think a lot of it's gonna be off court. We talked about that before. But he is gonna be obviously another spacer. I just want to see how it looks. It's gonna be a lot of catch and shoot, I think, with him though. As far as I don't think he's gonna be putting the ball on the floor a ton. I think a lot of it's gonna be swing, 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 and he's gonna be catching and shooting. But we'll see. It's gonna be fun to watch with him too. It was something else I wanted
I agree.
to go
Yeah, I
ahead. Go ahead.
think
Go ahead.
he is, even if he no, my bad. Yeah, I was gonna say, even if he does, he doesn't seem like, at least at this point, where he is like forcing and hunting shots. He knows where his matchups make sense. He knows, who the focal point players are on this team. And if he sees a guy like Ivy that's hot, he's gonna get him the ball. If he sees that Cade is doing his thing, he's gonna let him cook and do his thing.
Hmm.
Tobias, great. I know how a lot of Sixers fans felt about him, but I don't feel like they had the best organization as a team anyway. They just
I
had a lot
agree.
of great talent around them. No disrespect to Nick Hurst, but I feel like the organization of JB Bickerstaff with this young foundation, I think is going to be better suited for a guy like Tobias to thrive with in comparison to what he had in Philly. So yeah, I think he's going to be a great compliment. I think we're going to see it as soon as this regular season.
Mm. Yeah, man. 100%. Yeah, I definitely think that's a game we can get. Um, yeah, man. I really think this team is gonna shoot out like a cannon, bro. I really think they're gonna get off to a good start. I think they're very eager to change the narrative of Pistons
Yes.
basketball right now. Like it's you the sense of urgency. I will you can kind of comment on this if you want. Being around the team, do you feel the sense of urgency when you talk to these guys? Like, do you feel like we've heard different things said by different guys as far as like Ron Howland saying, yeah, I definitely think I can be an improved shooter or a good 3-point shooter, like not letting the crush me finish. Do you feel that like with other guys? Do you feel that kind of like in the room? Do you feel that vibe like, yeah, we're ready to go, we're ready to have fun, but it's serious, it's go time?
Yeah, I'm definitely seeing it in terms of their body language. I'm seeing it in terms of the work that they're putting in. I'm seeing that genuine care and desire to be better, because the number one motivation is the obvious. We all watch what happened last season, and they can't
Yeah,
avoid it. And they've done a good job of embracing it and addressing it like young men. They're not mad. Hey man, like they're not popping off on media members saying, "All right, hey, we done talking about that. Let's move on now." Like,
right,
no, they're
right,
addressing it like, hey, yeah, it was bad. That's not who we want to be. We want to help rewrite the script. And then even for the players who weren't there, like who you said, Ron Holland, he may not have been with the Pistons last season, but he was on a team with the G League that wasn't winning either. And he talked
exactly.
about that at Media Day. So it feels like Stu
Good
talked about
point.
it at Media Day too. Everybody has their own kind of chip on their shoulder. Even the coach probably got a chip on his shoulder after
Yeah,
how he was done in Cleveland. So I'm sure
yeah,
he got some motivation to show that he's not, worth nothing. It's a lot of good energy in the crowd right now with this team. A lot of, leadership that's respectable in terms of their ages and their veteran play. I feel like it's a lot of things that they can lean on. And yeah, it definitely doesn't feel like the same team as last season at all.
man. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it, bro. I'm looking forward to it. I see y'all in the comments, man. I appreciate everybody showing up and showing out, man. This has been a great stream. We're gonna get a few more things in, and then we're gonna call it a night. Um, there's a few more questions I wanted to ask you too. Oh, yeah, somebody mentioned Okor. Yeah, remember Okor? I haven't heard that name in a while for sure.
Oh
So I've
wow.
forgotten about
It
Jalen
is.
Brown's comments. Yeah, and that's just another like. There's just so much fuel that has been added to the fire. I think that really is just going to have guys really to change the narrative, man. Like I think I really looking for a quick start. I'm looking for a quick start. Not saying we're going to go 10-0, 5-0, but I'm looking for the team to come out of the gate with a different energy. You know, that's what I'm looking for. It's a different energy. I think we're going to see guys strapping up. You see it already with Cade. He's strapping up on defense, man. He's making defensive plays. He had a block at the end of the half against the Bucks. You know what I mean? And he had one against D-Book, last night. So, and he ended up with the play to get to Jaden Ivey for the layup. So he's doing a little bit of everything. And I think that just goes back to what JB was saying about making him a two-way player. That's something that he wanted to do. He said it in his first presser. I want to make him a two-way player. And the way you do that is you have guys like Jaden Ivey. You have guys like Fontecchio. You have guys like JD. You have guys like Holland taking the rebound and pushing the ball themselves. Yep. All of those guys, other than Jaden Ivey, the guys I mentioned are not even guards. But they've all been given the freedom to push the ball. And that helps a guy like Cade over the course of a game. Yep. Those dribbles, just having the ball in your hand, that's mentally and physically taxing over the course of a game. So having that is going to allow Cade to be able to be a two-way player. Because that energy can now go over there. It can go elsewhere. So it's just, I like how they're strategically putting everybody in the best position to be successful. And it's just it's like we didn't see this before. We see it now. I just love to see it.
I think everybody in this franchise right now is leading by example. Everything that they've talked about has been backed up with action in some way, shape, or form. Ivy talking about wanting to be better in these certain areas. And so now he's spending unbelievable time with Fred Vincent getting that jump shot together. Cade Cunningham saying, I want to be able to be a better finisher in the lane. And he's been working on his floater in the offseason. Like, it's just different things that they've talked about doing. Yep. And we're already seeing like brief views of that. And that's what you want to see. Everybody can talk about it. I feel like even Cade simply signing his contract is a sign of maturity. Like, he could have waited. He could have played I've been here and I haven't really seen anything. You guys haven't catered to me. He could have made that argument and nobody would have been mad. Not been mad, but we would have understood to an extent.
Yeah.
He hasn't done any of that. He's played it in a mature mind state. And he said immediately, no, I want to be here. Like, I want to be here to help turn this thing around. It wasn't a question of if, it was just a matter of when we could make it all work. So, yeah, I feel like everybody is approaching this from a very mature standpoint, and that's what it's going to take to turn this thing around. And I feel like there's no better opportunity based on what they have at this moment.
Bro, isn't it funny how everybody, when they do like a Cade impersonation, their voice just like drops like all the way down as far as they can go? Because like his voice is so deep. Like, I do it too. I'm like,
I'm excited, man. Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it for sure. Shout out Cade, bro. We gotta get you, my dog. Yeah, bro. Yeah, but yeah, it's just this newness, man. It's just a fresh breath of air, breath of fresh air, man. I'm really just excited to see how this team is gonna come together. I just want the regular season to start. I'm ready for it, man. This is gonna be so much fun. Megatron, he said Tobias has an illness. Yeah. I'm not sure what the illness is. Do you have anything on that, bro? Is it anything other than just illness? Did he eat something that gave him a bug, or what happened?
Yeah, he might have just had some bad fast food. It's nothing serious. JB Biggerstaff has said he hasn't really missed any reps in practice. He said they're just monitoring, how much they're playing him, how much they need to, throw him in. It is important for him to get some preseason reps just as you can see him in live action. But, they're not rushing. JB has said he's going to be a starter. He's going to fit. But, yeah, don't trip too much on that. The illness isn't a big deal. Bobby Clintman as well. They said they're just kind of taking their time with them, making sure they're not rushing. But everybody should be good to go outside of a SAR. Hopefully by the regular season. But yeah, their sitting reasons right now is nothing serious. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. I think opening night he'll be good to go. Hopefully we get to. I did kind of want to see him get some burn with the starters, just so we can all see what it looks like. Because we still haven't seen us assemble, the Avengers assemble yet. So I really just want to see how they all look together, and just I want them to be able to get those reps in. As many as possible before the regular season starts. But hopefully by the next game or game 4, he'll be ready to go, and we'll see him for 2 or 3.
Yeah. Hopefully it's nothing like last season or the past regime, I should say, where they say it's an injury that's no big deal, and then a week later it's a huge deal. So hopefully, based on what we've seen, it's not a repeat of that. I think Trajan has been very, very visible and upfront with everything.
That's true. Very true.
With that, it's not like Dwayne Casey or Monty where they kept things close to the chest. They've been up front, so hopefully that continues. So if they say it's no big deal, I'm going to take their word.
That's fair. That's fair. We can't go off, any previous regimes, and I know it's tough sometimes to kind of let that go, right? To kind of shake all of it off, but we can't kind of go off that. We got to give them a chance, clean slate. So based on what they've shown, I'm with you. They've been transparent. They've been, giving answers sometimes to questions that are not even asked. You know what I'm saying? They're just giving information. It's almost if to try to prove, or like a sign of faith. We're gonna be as honest as we can. So I appreciate that. I want to ask you this question, bro. We can get out of here. Is he a top 10 center this year? Is Jalen Duren a top 10 center this year? Will he be by season's end?
Will he be a top 10 center this season?
Yes.
I don't see why not. I really don't. It's not a ton of great centers in the NBA.
Yeah.
At the top, with some great guys, but through 10, I don't think it's impossible to say he can't crack top 10. I mean, from where he plays and how he plays, again, it's not going to be a ton of responsibility on his plate, but if he finishes as a top 3 rebounder, if he is averaging anywhere around 15 points just off being a lob threat and a menace at the rim, and if he's, close to around 2 blocks a game, you telling me that can't be top 10? That may not be the best player on your team, but who's to say that's still not a top 10 player as your 3rd best player on your team? Like, I don't think that's impossible. Yeah, I think he has the upside to make that happen. Again, I don't think it's a ton of great outside of, Embiid, Şengün, Jokic. Like, it's not a ton of, top flight centers in the NBA anymore. So
yeah,
that's very possible. I think they're going to give him the opportunity to show that he can be as high as a top 10 center for sure.
I think, and I'll be honest, because JD is one of my favorite players in this team. I love that dude. Mm-hmm. I do think he can be. I think it's going to be decided on the defensive end, defensive side of the game, because he's so athletically gifted, bro. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? He has all the measurables. He's got the strength. He's got it all for his size, man. The way he's able to move laterally, his footwork, he's ridiculous, bro. So like, I think that's going to be what it comes down to. Just, is he able to be a very good defender? And maybe not even a perimeter defender, but just, like, as far as protecting the paint, you know what I mean? Is he defensively sound? That kind of stuff, I think, is what's going to be what decides it. I think if he commits to that end of the floor, yes, he will be. Because he's gonna get buckets. It's gonna be so many easy buckets for him around the rim, just from facilitation, just from Cade and from Jaden and everybody else, just moving the ball. It's gonna come back to him under the rim. Mm-hmm. It's gonna get there. Scrambling defense. You know how it goes. So 100%, man. I think the offense is, I think once he sees that, I think it's going to make it so much easier for him to commit defensively.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Sometimes just getting, and not even having a play drawn up for you, but just getting easy buckets, just seeing the ball go in, it makes you play more defense. It's a natural thing. It just gives you that little extra. It's just the little extra on the other end. So I think once he realizes that he's going to be eating on the offensive end, it's going to make it that much easier for him to commit defensively every time down the court. And that's what I'm looking for him this season. I think because of that, because of Cade and Jaden, he is going to be a top 10 center because he's going to commit to that side of the ball.
I think it's very possible. Again, it's not even just like how he defends at the rim. I think, again, based on how he is as a rebounder, he's not just a great defensive rebounder. We've seen him as first and second year great at tipping the ball back and creating second chance looks. If that's enough to kind of impact the game and give them another extra possession or an open look of a shooter in the corner because he was able to tip the ball and scrap for an extra possession, that's huge. And based on what we see in the NBA, where guys like Derek White can be looked at as a top 30 player because they're the 5th best player on their team, you telling me Jalen Duren can't be a top 10 center as
preach,
a
bro.
3 pistol on his team?
Say that one more time, bro. For those in the back. Say that one more time.
Derek White. I can't even say his name anymore. Also, one more thing, too. Jalen Duren, again, I've talked about it a lot. I think very similar to Ivy, his ability to not just play physical in the lane is also going to get him a lot of looks at the free throw line as well. He was able to shoot 79% last season compared to the 61% he shot his rookie season. If the volume of that goes up just because they want to like try to hack a Shaq or don't want him to dunk and, change the momentum of a game, that's not really going to change much if he's shooting 80%. So the volume goes up and he's getting to the line 6, 7, 8 times a game. That's huge for the Pistons. And he could be looking around maybe close to 20 a game, just depending on the flow of how he's playing.
Great
it's a
point.
lot of different ways that he can impact the game with his skill set, his athleticism. And I just think it complements the guys around him so well. Like, I really do think he can be that dude.
Bro, yeah, you made a great point about JD, man. Yeah, he's just such a good player, man. He's such a talented. He's a good player. He's just so talented, bro. He's just so talented, man. And it's just gonna be fun to watch. I think somebody actually mentioned that exactly about how bad. This is interesting here. We find out, I think, with Darren how bad the coaching was last year and how good it is this year. Yeah, I can't really refute that. I can't really refute that because we're already seeing the difference. Remember how dominant Darren was in the first 3 games after the losing streak and his injury. He was never close to that. That's another thing too. The injuries really did derail his progression last year. Any thoughts on that, bro?
100%. Yeah, we saw, how good he was in games like against the Hornets on the road. I think about that Chicago game, the home opener, all the time. He was phenomenal that game. The way he was able to roll, finish strong at the rim, play fast in transition, swat shots, again, for the first maybe 5-10 games when he was healthy, he was the best rebounder in basketball. He was literally number 1, and Asar was not far behind him at 3 or 4. So yeah, the coaching, unfortunately, it really seemed like Monty Williams went out of his way to limit the development of these young guys. He stunted a year, Jaden Ivey. And then seeing what he's looked like already shows his work ethic and how great he can be. And Jalen Duren, the same thing. I don't think Monty did him any kind of favors with how he was being used on offense or defense through the stretch of the season. So if he's not sitting down for 20 games, if he doesn't have the ankle problems, yeah, I absolutely think he can be one of the best centers in the East and looked at as an elite center in the entire NBA.
Yeah. By the way, 5 or 6 from the free throw line last night. He's continuing to show that's not fluky. Last season was not fluky. I think he's going to be 80 plus this season. I really do. Because he was 79 last year. 79% last year. And he wants to improve. So,
better than Jaden Ivey.
Right. Exactly.
Shot last year from the line.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, he's going to be, I think he's going to be efficient. And that's how you get the 17 points last night. Right. We just talked about that. You just mentioned that. He's going to have, how many 20 games did he have last year? You know what I mean? Like, he was in the 20s as far as rebounds last year. Multiple games. So imagine this year, if it's more committed, has better playmaking around him, has more spacing. Like, yeah, he's going to have those. He's going to have a few monster games where he's just got 25 and 20. He's going to have a few of those just because it's going to be one of those games where the ball just finds him. You know what I mean? For so many easy buckets. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to him. I just hope that he continues to commit to the defensive side of the ball, man, because if he does that, everything else will fall into place for him. Everything else will fall into place. So, and I'm confident he's going to get there, bro. I really do think he's going to get there. Also Paul Reed. Any thoughts on Paul Reed so far, bro? We've seen a lot about it. Now, look, bro, Paul Reed, man, he's got like a hitch in his jumper.
Bro, I was just about to bring that up.
But that thing go in, bro.
It does. That
thing go in, though. I don't know how he does it, but because it's crazy. Like if you've never seen him play and you see him shoot the ball for the first time, and you see the whole bench going like this, you're like, what? You know what I mean? It just wouldn't make sense. But it goes in, bro. It just goes in. So like I like his game though. I like him on both sides of the ball. He's a great rim protector, especially for his size, man. He understands how to play the game. He's a very, very much a team player, right? So I like him. What are your thoughts on Paul Reed?
I think him and Stu are perfect complements of each other in the back. Or in the back unit of in the front court. Yeah. I think he's a big dude. Like, I'm kind of tall too. Like, I'm 6'2", not really like as strong, obviously, but I'm sitting next to Paul. He's a big guy. And I want to ask him about that jump shot. I want to ask him, but I don't want to get folded in half either, so I'm not even going to risk that. But, yeah, for some reason, somehow that shot goes in. It's a little unorthodox. It takes a little while, and it kind of floats like a rainbow, too. But by the time it comes down, that boy splashes in. Yeah. And I didn't know he really – like, again, I've seen him shoot a lot of mid-range shots, kind of put the ball on the ground or post up. I didn't know he was as fluid with his three as, he's shown through preseason. So he's going to get some looks, and especially if Beef Stew is playing inside as well. They'll be able to mix and match with each other. So I love upgrading from having guys like Wiseman and Bagley, who are tall, athletic, and terrible defenders, not really great at creating their own shot, to two guys like Stu and Paul Reed who can give you effort on defense and create their own shots in different kind of ways as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think they're much better suited with those two, coming off for the second unit than the guys they had last season.
100%, bro. Yeah. Bags, it was tough with Bags and Wiseman. They were just too redundant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There wasn't anything that Bags did significantly better than Wiseman or vice versa, even to the point of them being both left-handed. You know what I mean?
Right.
And neither one of them were physical. They weren't physical. They didn't absorb contact. They didn't like contact.
Mm-hmm.
So having a Stu and a Reed who they get down like, they get down like that. And like you said, they are interchangeable in that they can do a lot of the same things, but they can also do different things too.
Right.
That are separate from each other. And that's going to allow them to play off of each other once they learn how to play together. But it definitely can work for sure. I'm looking forward to seeing. I think we're going to see that. I think we're going to see, first break, we're going to see JD and Tobias coming out together and Paul Reed and Stu coming in together. I think we're going to see that quite often this season, just to kind of see how that can work together, because I think it can work. So, yeah, for sure. Ricky said, how tall is 6? You 6'2", right?
I'm 6'2", Rick. You know how tall I am. Why would I lie, bro? Bring the measuring tape up.
Hey,
you want to call
I'm not. Look, bro. I'm not gonna lie, dog. When I first met you, I didn't recognize. I saw your face, but I did not expect you to be 6'2", bro. For real. I thought you were maybe 5'9", something like that. I mean, I'm not tall. I can't talk. I'm not a giant by any stretch of the imagination. Anybody's. But yeah. I think Ricky's just trolling low key, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Is he trolling?
He on my cap today. I don't get it. Ricky, you better grow up somewhere. I'm 6'2" and he know it. Bring the measuring tape over. Come on.
Man. Right. No, he is legit 6'2", because he's 6'2", bro. He's got Were you able to dunk in high school?
What's that?
Were you able to dunk in high school?
Not consistently. I layup lines, I was all in, but yeah, during the game or anything like that, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it all the way. I got long arms. I just,
okay.
I got to work a little bit harder.
Ricky taking shots, bro. You say he played
oh my goodness, bro.
He plays. We gotta settle this on the court, bro.
I'm 6'2". I play 5'9". What you mean?
5'9". Sheesh.
Ricky is a hater. Shout out to Ricky, man. We played at North Farmington High School together. And
that's what's up.
I was one of his better teammates. I would always feed him the ball down low. And I was the 3. He was the big man. I would slide to him. Now I'm catching strays in the comments.
Man, I think he got I don't know. He got some grievances about some of the missed passes. I guess I don't know.
Maybe I expect this. Golly.
They trying. Why y'all give my man Eric, man? Why y'all getting on Eric, bro? Y'all gotta stop. He gonna stop giving us the information. Y'all gotta stop, bro. You know what I'm saying?
It's here, man. I can't do this. Come on, guys.
Oh man, hey, this has been fun, man. This has been a lot of fun, bro. Appreciate you coming on with us, man.
Always.
Appreciate y'all in the comments, man, showing up and showing out. Who we have next game, bro? I'm trying to remember. We got Phoenix back to back, right?
Yeah, they play Phoenix again. Yeah, they're gonna be on the road, and I think they play at 10 at night too. So
yeah, okay.
Everybody get a nap in if you need it.
Sheesh.
They on the road.
Hey man, that recap might come tomorrow. That following morning, y'all. Sorry, I don't know if I can do. That's gonna be y'all gonna be sleeping anyway. Don't act like you're gonna be up. Yeah, this has been fun, y'all. So we gonna call tonight, man. Once again, Eric, thank you for showing up and showing out. Everybody, his information. All his links are going to be in the description, so go follow him on Instagram, X, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, Top Title Sports. What up, though? We see you. Yeah, man, go follow him. He's got content just like this, probably even better than this on his own channel. So go check him out, man. He's doing his thing. I'm proud of him, man. I've seen you, come a long way, bro. You really, you hard worker, man. You do the work. I know that for sure. We talking about ChatGPT. You do the work. But yeah, man, I really appreciate you coming on, bro.
Hey, no ChatGPT over here.
No ChatGPT over there. Yo,
no AI
hey, man, so listen, quick story. So I want to fill y'all in on that. So we were out, me, Eric, and King were out talking about that. Bro, you ever heard of ChatGPT? He's like, yeah, I've heard of it. He's like, you ever think about using it? This dude, Eric, did everything short of, oh, no. Literally, he was like, hell no. So shout out to your work ethic, bro. We appreciate you, man. And yeah, y'all go follow this man. He's got great stuff, and he's doing big things. So anything else you want to end with, bro? I miss anything?
Appreciate you, man. Again, always a pleasure getting on here, man. Y'all tap in with me at I am Eric Vincent. Tap in on my work at Clutch Points. Again, it's all my authentic work, all my authentic writing.
Yes,
There's
sir.
no Drake in my game. There's no ghostwriters, none of that. I do all my work with all my creativity.
Oh
up top
man,
from
I was
here.
waiting on the Kendrick reference. I was waiting on it.
Man.
You had to get at least one in
I gotta
every
get a
time.
shot.
At least one. I
Of
was like,
course,
"You straight,
every
bro? You got a
single
fever?
time.
You gotta check your temperature. What's going on with it?"
Headshot for the year. I ain't forget never.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah, man. So everybody, we appreciate y'all showing up and showing out. We are going to call it, and you will see me hopefully. What is it? Friday night? Possibly. I may have a recap, but if not, the next morning y'all know what's coming. So appreciate y'all as always. Detroit versus everybody. Peace.